This is a video that I am super excited to make. Not only am I a fan of Warhammer and the lore behind the games and the series and the books and the tabletop, but I am also a massive fan of horde shooters. Games like Left 4 Dead basically raised me. So if you don't already know, the gameplay you're looking at is for Warhammer 40k Darktide. This game takes a lot of elements from other styles of game, like Left 4 Dead, and even Warhammer 40k Vermintide, which I never had the experience of playing, but I've heard many good things. I just never wanted to play Vermintide because it was a Warhammer game without the guns, and I thought that was such a big missed opportunity, not including the guns of the Warhammer franchise, which is essentially the staple of this franchise. And they finally made it a reality, and it feels amazing. If you're someone who's a fan of Warhammer lore, even if you just saw one Luton '09 video the other day and you're interested in it, I highly recommend giving this game a try. It's not out yet, unfortunately. I was invited to the closed beta, and that ended yesterday as I'm recording this video, so unfortunately you cannot play, but when you get a chance, if you get a chance at the next open beta or whatever's coming up next, play this game. It's awesome. The mechanics in this game feel great. The melee feels like you have weight behind your attacks, which I think a lot of games struggle with. Even Left 4 Dead and Left 4 Dead 2, you would swing your melee weapons and zombies would go down, but you wouldn't feel that weight of making a connection in the melee attack, and in this game it feels great. I think that's the influence from Vermintide and their previous games, and it just works so perfectly. When it comes to shooting, it's pretty basic. It's you shoot gun in Warhammer game at enemy and they die, but the weapons and the lore behind the weapons is there, and it is something that was missing from Vermintide desperately. In this game, you have a variety of different weapons, and I'm just going to list off the ones we had in the closed beta. So when it comes to range weapons, you get the auto pistol, las gun, revolver, the Ogryn 40mm shotgun, combat shotgun, ripper gun, force staff, and auto gun. And for the melee, you get a sword, shovel, axe, mace, force sword, big knife, thunder hammer, and chainsword. I unfortunately do not have footage of all these weapons because I joined the beta on the last day possible, which is very unfortunate. I wish I had a chance to play with all these weapons, but from the lore and from what I've read, these weapons are amazing. I got to try the chainsword a little bit, and it has a special attack where you just saw through the enemies. It's fucking awesome. I'm sorry, I usually don't curse, but it's fucking awesome. I can't help myself. Aside from the variety of weapons, there is also 4 classes. I unfortunately only got to play 2 of the classes, those being the Veteran Sharpshooter and the Zealot Preacher. And these classes on their own feel great. The Zealot Preacher is more of a melee-focused character, which is what you're watching right now. And I'll switch the footage of the Sharpshooter. I only have footage of the Sharpshooter on a lower difficulty map, but it shows the basics of the character. You're a range character, you do a lot of damage from range, your melee isn't so great. Pretty self-explanatory. Now, when it comes to the other 2 classes, they are amazing, and I wish I had more time to play this game because I really wanted to try them. But they are the Psyker, which is almost like a 40k version of a Jedi that uses the Force, but in this game, it's power from the warp, and you could blow people's heads off just by looking at them. It is super cool, and it's super cool to see in action. And the final class is the Ogryn, which is just the big tanky guy. You should see him walking around in all the gameplay footage I have. Everyone loves the Ogryns. They're cool, they're funny, they're not very smart, but oh my god, it's great. The way the characters interact and the little quips they have with each other is so perfect for 40k. It's dead on. It's dead on. I don't think they could have done a better job with this game for what it is. It's a $40 game. At least that's what it's planned to be, priced on release. But with all that being said, I do have to get into the cons, and to be honest, there's not many cons I have about the game so far with the little I got to play, but I cannot see this game lasting too long. I know there's a dedicated fan base to Vermintide, and people still play it to this day, and I'm sure those people will stick around for Darktide here. But for the average player, I don't think this is going to become your main game. But if you can get a group of friends just to play this with, it is awesome. It's a great time. It's a great time. If you're someone coming from the Horde shooters or Back for Blood, stuff like that, you will feel right at home in this game, and I think this is much more well done than Back for Blood was. The progression feels a lot more natural, and it makes sense. A few more minor cons. You get to create your character, which to some people is a pro. In the horde shooter genre, there's not much of that, unfortunately, when I think there very much should be a lot more. You get to pick your character's backstory, what planet they come from, why they were incarcerated in this hellish landscape, and why they're out here fighting now. But the character creator is pretty limited at the moment anyway. You can only pick from a variety of faces. You can't edit the faces or anything. It's no cyberpunk character editor or anything like that. The final con, which to some people may not be so much of a con, is the hub world. I feel like anything you can do through a hub world can be accomplished through a menu, just generally. And in this game, that's definitely the case. But for some reason, I kind of like it in this game because Warhammer has really cool lore when it comes to this. Like, for example, there's a tutorial section where you jump into this little pod, and the pod is connected to a psyker, which is a way information can be transmitted through like the Warhammer universe, and it's super well done, and the attention to detail is immaculate. I know this is supposed to be a con section, but I don't have many gripes with the game. I think it feels great. I just think the only problem is going to be the longevity of the game and the community. But even then, if you have just 4 people to play with and you guys enjoy the game, that's all that matters. If it's not already, this game should be on your radar. It's definitely worth a shot. It's a great time with friends. I really don't have much more to say. If you're looking for a Warhammer style game or a horde shooter style game, it works for both. You don't need to know anything about Warhammer to get into this game because it just feels so good. Popping heads and bashing people. It's great. It's a great time. This game gets a huge thumbs up from me. I don't want to give like a number rating and be specific because I haven't had time with the full game. I haven't been hands-on too much. But god damn, if you can play this game, find a way to play this game. But for now, I think that's going to be it from me. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, drop a like. If you have any comments about the game, or anything really, throw it in the comments. I would love to discuss and see other people's first impressions of the game if you had time with it. And with all that being said, subscribe, because apparently telling people to do that works. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.